Namaste. Today I am going to talk about the different impact of the Homam. The problem with the impact of the Homam is it is multi-dimensional. It is not one single dimension it can work. It can work on a multiple layers. That is the problem to measure the impact of the Homam. Now, let us look into the area where the Homam is having an impact. First thing is, people have a spiritual cord. It is called as the Antakarna. Now, the Homam will have a direct impact on the Antakarna. The Antakarna is called as the Sutrama, and it is the spiritual cord which connects the soul towards the Godhead. Now, when you perform Homam and when you see it clairvoyantly, the Sutrama expands, the Antakarna expands. The thread-like Antakarna becomes like a rope. It thickens across, and the amount of divine energy which flows into the Antakarna will increase. So that is the first and the most important thing as far as the Homam is concerned. Whenever you do the Homam, if you are very clairvoyant or you use the Kirlian photography or you are able to use the aura scanner, first check the Antakarna. There is a huge amount of divine light which flows down across. Now, in Tantric traditions, the black light will flow. In the Sattvic tradition, the white golden light will flow. The second problem with the entire thing is, now it will start flowing into the different chakras. There are 7 chakras: the Sahasrara, Ajna, throat chakra, heart chakra, solar plex chakra, navel chakra, and the basic chakra are there. Now this is like a river, just like a waterfall which actually flows down like a river. So what happens is, when the divine light flows into the different chakra, the chakra tends to expand. The chakra tends to swirl faster across. So any kind of dross, any kind of thought form, small particles, low astral beings starts leaving the aura and the chakra, it gets cleansed. So what happens is, when you do the Homa, the Antakarna is so big, it starts coming down into the various layers, and then what happens is the aura expands. If you see, there are 5 layers of aura. Of course, it is called as the Pranamaya Kosha, Annamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, like that. But basically, you can take the body is the earth body. The next level of the layer is the watery content of it, which is called as the Pranamaya. Then it is the fire part of it. Then the air part of it, which is called as the Manomaya Kosha, and the internal is the Anandamaya Kosha. Now, what happens is the aura expands and all the 5 koshas starts expanding. The color of the aura tend to change across. The color of the aura becomes more and more refined. It starts becoming what you call it as golden in color. You can see a lot of prana particles which is coming in. So what happens is, in the aura there could be thought form which gets stuck up, there could be some kind of a past life incidents which could get stuck up. All these things can get stuck up across. So when the Homa ritual energy flows, there is a tremendous amount of cleansing which happens, which opens up the thought forms, which opens up the past wounds, and there is a karmic churning happens. So whenever you do a Homam, you should ask yourself the impact of both energy wise and the physical part of it as a person. So energy wise, the Antakarna opens up, huge amount of energy comes in, it flows into the 7 chakras, the aura and the the aura expands across, then it starts cleansing. That is why Homa always work on the karmic level. So it clears your karma, it clears your past life memories, it clears a lot of things across. Also, the mind moves from vipraya to praya. In other words, the mind after the homam, if you check, generally people will be positive, happy and very contented across. A sense of well-being will be there in the homam. This is also an impact of the homam. And the other one is, if you take the sleep state, you actually go into an alpha state very easily and you go into a deep sleep. That is why many people, when they do homam, after the homam and after they consume the food across, they tend to go to a very deep sleep, which is very deep and it is very, very refreshing across as a person. So it has on the what you call it, on the well-being level, also on the sleep level. The other one is the heart chakra tends to expand and people become very, very peaceful and contented. If you see people who do the homam, they are not worried about the past, they are not worried about the future. Generally, a sense of peace is there as a person. The other one is the energy tends to become higher after they sleep and they come across, they feel refreshed, they feel have a long hours of energy is there as a person. Also in the hara point, what happens, the hara opens up and the energy gets stored over here as a person. So this is the impact of the homam on a multi-dimensional level. The other one is the lineage karma starts clearing across. If you see, there are spiritual cords. There are cords which get connected to the land, which is the bhumi, and the land, the thing which gets connected to various relationships, and those in turn are connected to your ancestors across. These cords tend to get purified, tend to get cleared across. In China or Korea, there is a particular way they talk about it. They simply say that all of us are connected by an invisible blue thread across in the life. Now, this is a way of telling that all of us are interconnected across. So, and also what happens is, if there is a situation lock, if there is a what we call circumstances lock, if there are people lock, that tends to break away and the solution starts appearing for the people across. So that is the level of the homam. So the homam has an horizontal impact and the homam also has an vertical impact into people's life across. So this is a very, very important understanding that people should develop when they are doing a homam. So if suppose somebody is doing a homam for money, if they are stuck up with money, what happens is they are able to gain some kind of a solution, some kind of a link which helps them to solve across as a person. And when you do the homam, the law of attraction frequency increases and your aura and chakra tends to attract all the good things, and the coincidence starts happening by which you will be able to have an impact into your life across. Now, many people think that the attraction is mental and if you visualize you will be able to do that, which is only partially true, because the main problem in attraction is your aura and chakra attracts beyond your will across as a person. So that is also an impact which has to be seen by people. The problem is we do not have so much of data, we do not have so much of research, we do not have blind trial studies, we do not have a peer review about all these things across, because our systems are not measuring the energy component of the life. We are all on the form component of life. So many people do not understand the energy component of life. The energy component of life will help us to understand about the impact of the homam. The impact of the homam, let me sum it up. It is multi-dimensional. From the antakarna, different chakras, the aura and the chakra tends to expand, and it works on the spiritual cord. So the karma gets cleared, the lineage karma gets cleared. It also works on the physical level, and where it opens up the law of attraction, law of coincidence happens across. So please understand this when you look at the homam. Homam is a very, very multi-dimensional impact it brings into people's life. It has, of course, it has been followed in the Buddhism, it is followed in the Hinduism, it is followed even in Jainism. The problem, and I have seen some Muslim fakirs, Muslim Baba, they tend to do homam using Quran. They tend to do it in their own way across. So this fire worship, this ritual worship is something very, very unique contribution to the human mind. Of course, if you talk about the impact of the homam, you do one homam, you probably will have 10 days of vipassana energy in my personal experience across. So please understand, any puja or homam you do can have a multi-dimensional impact. One needs to look at it in a very deep fashion rather than talking in a very, very superficial fashion across.